Okay, the general equation for a circle, they took when it talked about how the definition of a circle, they gave you this right here. But if we square both sides, we get this equation. And so HK is still your center, right? And it's got an r squared, but r is still the radius. But when it's in that pink, the thing I highlighted in pink, when it's in that form, that's the general equation of a circle. So on participation activity number 2, they give you this equation, and I just wrote it over here because it's just easier for me. And the first thing I'm going to do, because you'll notice up here you have the x minus k squared and the x minus h squared and the y minus k squared together on the left and then equals some number on the right. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of this some number of 75 because it should not be on the left side. Your constant should be over here on the right side. So that's going to leave me with x squared plus 6x plus y squared minus 8y now equals 75. Now, what I need to do now is complete the square on both the x terms and the y terms to convert them into perfect square trinomials so that they can be written as a binomial to the second power. And when I'm looking at this, these two guys are both x's and these two guys are both y's. So I'm going to spread this out a little bit. I'm going to have an x squared plus 6x plus whatever I'm going to need to create a perfect square for that, plus y squared minus 8y plus whatever I need to complete the square on that. And then remember, what you do to one side of an equation, you have to do to the other. So whatever I add for my x's and whatever I add for my y's, I have to add those same numbers on the other side. Now, to complete the square, you simply take the middle term, which is 6 on the x's, divide it by 2, and then square it, and that's what goes right here. Well, 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 3 squared is a 9. But that means I have to add a 9 over there as well. Then you complete the square on the y's. You're going to take the negative 8 and divide it in half, and then square that. Well, negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. And negative 4 squared is a positive, so plus 16. These are always going to be pluses because no matter whether you square a positive or a negative, it'll always come out to be a positive. So now, this right here, when you want to write it as what binomial squared, it starts with this x squared, so you know it has to just be an x because x times x is x squared. But your middle term is going to be I don't know, if you yellow, use pink. How about purple? Whatever you got right here, 6 divided by 2, that's what's going to go right here. And it was a positive 3, so I'll just leave it as a plus. And then you put plus, and then for all of the y's, that's a perfect square trinomial. So you know, because it starts with a y squared, this has to be a y. And on this one, you're going to, whatever negative 8 divided by 2 is, that would be a minus 4. So you're going to put a negative 4 there. Equals, and then when I add 75 plus 9 plus 16, I get 100. And now I can answer the questions. What is the center? Now remember, if you come back up here to this pink stuff, I'll use different colors again. How about green? It's x minus h. Well, I have an x plus 3, so this would actually be an x minus a negative 3, so that our h is negative 3. So my center right here, the x coordinate is negative 3, comma, and then your y coordinate, it's plus y minus k, and I do have a minus sign here, so 4 is your k. And then the 100, let's get another color here. How about orange? This right here is your r squared. Here's my r squared. So if r squared equals 100 and you square root it, then r would be a 10. And you don't worry about the negative 10. Technically, there's two answers, positive and negative 10, but we're talking about a distance here, so the radius can't be negative. So I'm going to go back to Mobius, and it's negative 3, negative, whoops, where was it? There it is. Parenthesis, negative 3, comma 4, close the parenthesis, and my radius is 10. And how did I do? There you go. Green means go.